Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news and takeover news and general Manchester United news, chit chat and update show. Lots to talk about tonight. Manchester United have basically sold Dean Henderson. His medical has been completed. Announcement should be pending. Atley deal will come on to replace Dean Henderson. There's movement in the Amrabat deal. There's a situation going on with Gravenberch, which depends on the Mctominay situation. Is Mctominay going to leave? Is Mctominay not going to leave? Some sources saying, yep, McTominay's really close to going to Bayern. Bayern want McTominay. Other sources saying, no, this is being over-exaggerated. The same is going on with Amrabat. Man United do want a striker, but they haven't made any moves for a striker. Fabrizio Romano has said Manchester United will sign a left-back. Fabrizio Romano confirmed on the United stand today that Manchester United will 100% sign a left-back, and that Man United are definitely in for Amrabat. They said that Fabrizio Romano said his own words were that United are looking to sign a left-back, a keeper and a midfielder. The keeper will be Atley Bayindir. The left-back will either be Alonso, Cucurella, Reguilon or Henry Rico, depending on which one goes through. And obviously the midfield priority, according to Romano, is Amrabat. If Maguire goes, Todobon moves. Potentially, if McTominay goes, Annan or Amrabat become available. And obviously United looking at striker situation. So there's a lot of news coming out. Romano also went on the United stand today, touched upon like takeover news and all of that. I'm going to cover it all in today's show. I'm going to break it down into goalkeeper, defense, midfield, attack, because there's a lot to get through. And then we'll get like a general discussion. But I'll show you my notes here. Oh no, that's not my notes. That's just my live tweets. I can't lie. I've had a bit of a bank holiday weekend. I've been out for drinks. I've been down the pub, hence the later live stream, because I only got back about 10 minutes ago. So hopefully I'll make sense today. But these are my notes I've been making here. Goalkeeper, defense, left back, midfield's all broken down, attack's all broken down. Like I've got a lot of notes from today's, because I just tell you this now, like so much news. So much news has come out at the moment as well. Alex B puts a good chat in here saying midfield has been a clear issue since last season. Madness to address left back before sorting out midfield. 100%. I have a feeling with the left back situation that maybe Luke Shaw's injury is going to be quite severe, and that might be why they're looking to do a left back on loan until January. And part of me gets it, because I do think it would be best for Alvaro Fernandez to have a good loan spell. But at the same time, if Luke Shaw is injured, would I rather Alvaro Fernandez play or Cucurella play? I'd rather Alvaro Fernandez play. The only left back we're linked to I like is Rico Henry. And my feeling on the left back situation, I think a lot of you guys might agree with me on this, is I don't mind if we sign a left back as long as it doesn't compromise Amrabat. For me, midfield has got to be the number one priority. We sign a left back and it means we can still get a midfielder, cool, sign a left back. If signing a left back means we can't get a midfielder, don't go near a left back. Use Alvaro Fernandez, because as Alex B said, midfield should 100% be Manchester United's priority. And Fabrizio Romano has come out today and confirmed with his own mouth that United will sign a left back this summer, and we will get into that. Reports in Spain saying we put in an offer for Alonso. Barcelona will accept that offer, but Alonso wants to stay. We like Reguilon, we like Rico Henry, but Cucurella probably seems the most advanced regarding left backs at this point as well. And been absolutely crazy today with all the news. Guys, we've literally just had absolute news madness today as well. And Alex Marma says it's hard to believe what's true and what's fake news. And you're right, because you get, so many sources saying United want Amrabat top of the list, and then you got Luckhurst saying, no, actually, United don't want Amrabat. It's being exaggerated by Italian media. Now, obviously, I'm going to believe Fabrizio Romano over Amrabat. I think the fact that we agreed personal terms with Amrabat 2 months ago, that Romano and Marks have confirmed Amrabat's interest. I think United are in for Amrabat, because why would we agree personal terms with him 2 months ago? Why would Amrabat be training alone and compromising his career if Man United didn't want him? It's an exaggeration by Italian media. It's not. I think Samuel Luckhurst is United PR. United are starting to put out stories that they're not that interested in Amrabat to their United journalists. And I think United are only putting out those stories in case they miss out on Amrabat with the fan outrage, so they can pretend he wasn't a target. But we know from Romano and Tier 1 sources, Amrabat is a target, and there's a reason Amrabat's training alone. Now, another target that has emerged today is Hojbjerg. We're going to get into that. Personally, I would stay away from Hojbjerg. Spurs want to get rid of him. Spurs completely outpace us in midfield and want to get rid of this player. Just personally don't want Hojbjerg. If there's a Spurs midfielder I'd sign, it would be Maddison or Basuma. It wouldn't be Hojbjerg. He's not in their plans. Yes, he played one game with Ten Hag, so we're linked to him. For me, and maybe United just think with a different brain to me, and I'm a little bit steaming, so hopefully I actually make sense this live stream. But just the way I look at things, I just go Amrabat. All I think is Amrabat. It's like Frankie de Jong when I was obsessed with Frankie de Jong. Now, look, if I could have Amrabat or Frankie de Jong, I would be getting Frankie de Jong. I ain't gonna lie to you. If I could be getting Tchouaméni or Amrabat, I'd be getting Tchouaméni. Like, I'm not obsessed with Amrabat, but in terms of a realistic midfield option out there, I'm not interested in the Hojbjergs. I'm not interested. Like, Gravenberch is good, but Gravenberch should be an addition to Amrabat. It's like, stop linking me to Hojbjerg and sign Amrabat. I just see, all I can see, all I can feel, all I can hear is Amrabat, and I'm like, well, that's the deal that Manchester United need to do. The deal they need to do is Amrabat. Nay says, I wasn't always the biggest Amrabat fan, but with the groundwork we did, I can't accept him not ending up at United. I need him training at Carrington by the end of the week. Exactly. If we don't have this player, it's embarrassing as well. We will talk about Cucurella in a second. Alex Marmon said that Cucurella on loan would be a good move. This was a player who was brilliant at Brighton not long ago. Man City also wanted him. That's why Chelsea spent so much on him. And the thing about Cucurella was he just bad last season because everyone at Chelsea was bad? There's a strong reason for that. The only thing I'm worried with Cucurella is his lack of physicality. Will that help United? And as Steve said, big week because there's a UCL draw on Friday and then we play Arsenal. Absolutely spot on, Steve. It's going to be a massive, massive week. But let's get into the transfer news because there's a lot of stories to get into. And we're going to just get into some general stories, and then we'll start from goalkeeper to defence to midfield to attack. The attacking news isn't particularly interesting because I don't think we're going to sign an attacker despite Ten Hag wanting one. But it has been said that Ten Hag's demanded 3 signings. He wants a backup keeper, a left back, a midfielder, and another attacker. Obviously, if Mctominay goes, then that would be 2 midfielders. If Maguire goes, that would be a defender addition to that. So obviously, what was said on the no, that's my other notes. That's the wrong notes. But I've got a lot of notes to get through. I've got loads to get through in today's show, so do smash the like button. But Luck has basically said that Man United will sign a left-back confirmed. Fabrizio Romano confirmed, his own words, his own mouth, Manchester United will sell a left-back. That's 100% confirmed. A left-back signing seems to be confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. Now, I have no issue with us signing a left-back as long as that does not change the Amrabat situation. As long as that means us signing a left-back means we can't get Amrabat, then I'll be fuming. Because the way I see it is Luke Shaw gets injured, we're signing a left-back. Mount's injured, Kobbie Mainoo's injured, and we're not signing a midfielder. It's like 2 midfielders injured, won't sign midfielder, 1 left back injured, sign left back. It obviously have the funds for Amrabat, and we're just delaying the deal. Now, reports are saying United are just delaying the Amrabat deal because they know the longer they wait, the lower the Fiorentina will lower the price, and maybe Man United are actually deliberately not going to get Amrabat to the final days of the transfer window because his price will be lower. Who will know? Hopefully Amrabat will move. Hopefully Amrabat will advance quick. But it has been said and confirmed today by Fabrizio Romano that United will sign a left back. He's also said that United's plan is goalkeeper, another midfielder, and a left back. And that was confirmed by Fabrizio Romano today regarding the whole left back situation as well. We will get into sort of the left back thing as well. People say that Cucurella's had 1 bad season at Chelsea. That doesn't make him a bad player all of a sudden. Who didn't have a bad season at Chelsea last season? Kovacic was doing well at Man City. And you're absolutely right. The thing with Cucurella is, again, if Cucurella doesn't affect the Amrabat deal, and that means Alvaro Fernandez gets a great loan, which will probably be better for his career. Cucurella on a 6-month deal isn't the end of the world. I'm not going to be super negative about it because I remember that season we had under Rangnick where Luke Shaw was dreadful, and then the next season Luke Shaw was one of our best players. I almost feel like Cucurella, there's a very good left back in there, and Man City wanted him for a reason that maybe at United under Ten Hag we will see the good Cucurella as well. As you said, Alex makes a good point here. You know, Kovacic has done particularly well as well. But the concerning aspect for Cucurella with me, he said, is something to affect preferring playing at smaller clubs. Yeah, can he be a big club player? But also his physicality. Will he be pushed off the ball easily is technically another worrying thing as well. We need a midfielder before a left back, says, I'm not going to try to pronounce your name because I'll mess it up, but I absolutely agree. And Cucurella on loan, so why not? He's better than Reguilon. And the other joke we're linked to with. I mean, I think the best option would be Rico Henry, but I would rather Cucurella than Alonso because Alonso's been rubbish at Barcelona and he's old. And I'd probably rather Cucurella than of Reguilon. So I think Cucurella would probably be nearer the top of my list as well. And as Wesley says, we need Amrabat, a warrior midfield. Otherwise, Man United will not be able to bottle against Arsenal and Liverpool for the time being. The midfield's weak and thin in terms of the squad, which I agree. So we're going to quickly address the left-back news. And we're also going to address the goalkeeping news as well. So what was actually said on the left-back situation? As you can see on the screen, Fabrizio Romano came out and confirmed that United will sign a left-back. Fabrizio Romano then confirmed that Manchester United's priorities are a left-back, a keeper, and a midfielder. Now, Fabrizio Romano has spoken heavily on Cucurella and United's concept of Cucurella. Fabrizio Romano also said Reguilon and Alonso and obviously Rico Henry are options. Fabrizio Romano actually said yesterday that Chelsea are open to letting Marc Cucurella leave on loan to Manchester United, but only at their conditions of a loan fee with salary coverage. Was said by Romano. Other sources, Spanish sources, came out and said that Marc Cucurella wants to move to United. He's in favour of a move to United, and that Man United and Chelsea are actually discussing this Cucurella move as we speak. Relevo and George C. Picon, another Spanish source, said that Manchester United is interested in signing Marc Cucurella and that talks with Chelsea are ongoing to find a solution. Cucurella is open to joining United. And obviously, top Granadan sources said that Granada believe they're close to signing Alvaro Fernandez on loan, which came out at the exact same time news from Spain has been coming out saying that United are close to getting Cucurella on loan. So maybe there could be some kind of link and correlation between the fact that Alvaro Fernandez is very close to leaving the club and Cucurella seems to be very close to joining the club. It was obviously said by the Mail Sport that United have inquired about Brentford right back Rico Henry as they look to bring in a new left back ahead of the deadline, but there is a feeling that Brentford would be reluctant to sell the guy. Now, I think Rico Henry is probably the best name we've been linked to, but I think, obviously Barca want to get rid of Alonso for FFP. Chelsea will happily get rid of Cucurella and Spurs will happily get rid of Reguilon. That I feel like that Rico Henry, because Brentford want to keep him and play him, he's an important player, it will be a difficult deal to do. Rojo, sources from Spain have said that United have made an offer for Marcos Alonso and that Manchester United also offered Alonso a 2-year contract, which was interesting. The first year would be a loan deal. I don't know why we'd want to sign Alonso for 2 years. Surely it would be a 6-month loan. So I'm not 100% on those stories coming out there and maybe take it with a pinch of salt, but obviously United are making moves there as well. We don't need a left back. Just play Diallo. Just play Diallo at left back. Do you mean Diallo inverted? I played Diallo inverted. I play Alvaro Fernandez. For me, I'm not too fussed about the left back situation. I think Malassi is back in 3 weeks. We've got Diallo. We've got Alvaro Fernandez. For me, a midfielder is the most important position, but United just don't seem super keen on getting that position in, which I think is quite surprising as well. Amrabat has waited around this long and rejected all other offers. Would be classless if we don't get it done. Yeah, it would be. The fact that Amrabat is literally jeopardizing his career, rejecting all other offers, not training with Fiorentina. What more can Amrabat do to push the move through? Fiorentina even lowering the price. If we don't get Amrabat, it's absolutely criminal, and the Glazers will have to take a long, hard look at themselves at the fact, why did we not get Amrabat? Anadir says the problem with Cucurella, in my opinion, is his attitude. He's so rash and arrogant, commits fouls very easily and takes bad decisions. He did come across like that at Chelsea, but I think a lot of players did as well. And Alice, why do you rate Luke Shaw highly? I personally think that Man United should have sold Luke Shaw 5 years ago. It's not good enough for United. Luke Shaw can be inconsistent, but I think on his day he's a phenomenal left back, and I think Luke Shaw's he can play left centre back. I thought he was brilliant last season. I am personally a big admirer of Luke Shaw as well. Cucurella is a good player. He didn't get the game time at Chelsea. Potentially is definitely a good player in Cucurella. And Agent Fred did confirm our new goalkeeper signing, people. Very interesting news coming in on the goalkeeper situation, but that looks to be essentially confirmed by Agent Fred as well. And Leicester's Justin Thomas was also linked to United today. It seems that every player under the sun has been linked to United as well. And I want us to get backup goalkeeper sorted. Amrabat signed, Donny van de Beek sold, Cucurella on loan, and if possible, do a swap deal with Mctominay going one way and Gravenberch going with the other, says Alex Marmon. And I agree with Alex there as well. And just sell the club already. This transfer window has put us further back at least 2 years. I mean, I do want the club sold. I think, we could be a bit more productive in the transfer window, especially with the lack of movement around sales as well. And Alice, I know this sounds silly, but if these players are physical enough, we should sign them because it's dying hours of the window and we should grab what we can. Full sale only. I mean, 100% full sale only, people, as well. And United used to stop at Waitrose. Now we're going to Lidl, says Stephen James. Fair enough. It feels like that. And Amrabat won't keep us afloat. 1 or 2 max of our players get in the City or Liverpool's first 11. Well, I think a lot of our players get Liverpool's first 11, but City's a different question as well. Malassi looks good when he gets to run and get matches between him. Diallo and Alvaro Fernandez left back is not super priority compared to midfield, and I absolutely agree. We're on 125 likes, guys. Let's go for 300 likes, so please do smash that like button as well and subscribe down below if you're new. I want to get into some more stories. We've got stories on the midfield, we've got stories on the attack, we've got stories on the defence, we've got stories on the goalkeeper situation. So we're going to go from defence to goalkeeper to midfield to attack. So it was said today that Dean Henderson has completed his Crystal Palace medical. Reports are coming out today that Dean Henderson has completed his medical to become a Crystal Palace player. That has been completed. Now Dean Henderson is set to be sold for 20 million and his replacement is 4.3 million. There's a feeling that United will have 15 million left in funds to invest. Now, news that's been coming out as well is that West Ham are considering to return from Maguire, trapped this time, but in the form of a loan request. So Man United will get a left back. That's confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. 100% going for a left back. Confirmed by Romano. Man United want a left back. It's also come out and it's also sort of been confirmed that, you know, Maguire's open to now leaving United and that West Ham are going to go back into the Maguire, but that's going to be a loan deal. Now, Sky Sports have said that Manchester United actually told West Ham as things stay, Maguire is staying at the club. Fabrizio Romano went on the United stand today and he was asked about Harry Maguire. And Fabrizio Romano essentially came out and said, look, there's a 20% chance that Maguire leaves, but there's an 80% chance that Maguire stays. Fabrizio Romano said it's looking more and more likely that Maguire is going to stay because Manchester United are only open to doing a loan move for Maguire, which is fair enough. It was then said by reluctant Nico that Everton had also made a loan bid for Harry Maguire. However, United have just rejected a loan bid from Everton for Harry Maguire. And it was now said, you know, Man United will reject loan deals for Harry Maguire, but there's a feeling West Ham could come back and put in a bid. Now, Sports PO, which is a semi-decent source, is saying there's a feeling that Harry Maguire will go to West Ham. Some sources are saying West Ham will sign Maguire. They just have to put in a bid. United want to make sure if Maguire's sold, they can afford Todibo. And Sports PO is saying that West Ham are now expected to sign Maguire after new talks in a few hours. Now, I think West Ham and Maguire have had new talks, and I think Maguire said, I'm open to join if it's a loan move. And the reason Maguire would be open to join West Ham on loan is because he'd get the exact same wages he gets at United. West Ham, you know, Maguire doesn't want to join West Ham on a permanent because he knows he have to take a wage cut. Maguire wants to join West Ham on loan so he can play for West Ham week in, week out and keep his Manchester United wages, which might be fueling a lot of the stories that there's a feeling that Harry Maguire will be sold. There's a feeling United will bring in Todibo. There's a feeling that a deal will happen. There's a lot of stories about that, but there are reports coming out that actually West Ham are expected to sign Maguire now. But the difficult thing is that these reports are very conflicting because while some sources are saying that Maguire's close to joining West Ham, you then have the Times come out today and say, breaking, Manchester United have blocked a fresh approach for Harry Maguire from West Ham United. So you get one source saying, look, this, that, and then you get another source coming out saying that Man United have blocked a fresh approach for Harry Maguire from West Ham United. So it's an interesting one as well. However, Manchester United's approach they blocked from West Ham United was reportedly a loan deal, and Manchester United are only reasonable to permanence. The problem is Maguire only wants to leave United if it's a loan, and United only want Maguire to leave if it's a permanent, because United are like, well, we kind of want to get rid of you if it's a permanent because actually, well, you know, we want money for you so we can afford Todibo. If we loan you out, we can't afford Todibo. So West Ham have gone in for Maguire, but it seems it's been blocked, and it seems that's because West Ham have put in a loan deal. So Maguire would like to join West Ham on loan, but he doesn't want to join West Ham permanently. And Man United are like, well, you can't have your cake and eat it. You go to West Ham and you take a pay cut, or you stay at United, you rot on the bench and you keep your money. And Maguire's opting for that. I don't care about my career. Gareth Southgate will probably play me if I play in a minute. Let me rot on the bench and stay at United and keep my money. He literally got offered a £6 million payout to leave United, and that wasn't enough. He wanted 10 million, which is crazy. Take the 6 million, take the 120k a week wages West Ham offering you, and yes, you're making 60k a week less, but at the end of the day, you're West Ham captain. You play week in, week out, you're an important player, and you're still on 120 grand a week. You can survive off that. I think it's ludicrous. And people say, but Alice, or if someone tripled your wages, you'd change jobs. And I'm like, yeah, because my wages aren't 190 grand a week anyway. You know, if I'm on 190 grand a week and, you know, and I get this better job and I'm on 120 grand a week, and I know that I'm not going to fulfill very well in my 190 grand a week job, well, I'll do the 120 grand a week job. You know, there's a difference from being on 190k a week and 120k a week from being on a grand a week to £500 a week. It's completely different in that context. So I don't get why Maguire wants to stay, but now he wants to leave, but he only wants to leave on loan. And Maguire's trying to push a move through to West Ham, but essentially Maguire's trying to push a loan move through to West Ham. And it's like, you leave permanently or you don't leave at all. You can't have it both ways from Harry Maguire as well. UCL group stage out or well. The UCL group stage draw is on Friday. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because I will do a group stage draw, watch along, reaction, all of that stuff. So do be subscribed because we will talk about the group stage and all that as well. And of course, please do smash that like button, guys. Share the video and all of that good stuff as well. We've got reports of a Hojbjerg shock transfer. Amrabat 100% wanted, and Romano does confirm United will sign a left back. So we've got lots and lots to get into in today's show. So please do smash that like button, subscribe down below, and share the video if you're new. I want to get into my next few stories as well. Leicester can't laugh at anyone. Leicester are in the Championship. Mctominay to Bayern is exactly what we're going to get into. So we just got through the centre-back situation. We've kind of got into the left-back situation. And now want to get into the midfield situation because United do want a midfielder. Despite United playing down the Amrabat links, it's very clear that United do want a midfielder. On the United midfield situation, it was said that Manchester United have not ended their interest in signing a second midfielder as well as the transfer deadline looms. You know, Samuel Lutka starts coming out saying that Italian media has exaggerated our interest in Amrabat. And more of that. And apparently Man United only want Amrabat because of Italian media, this, Italian media, that. But actually, it's come out and said that Manchester United have not ended their interest in signing a second midfielder as the transfer deadline looms. So despite Lutka saying apparently United don't want Amrabat, he's saying that United still want a midfielder. Now, I believe United want Amrabat because that's what Romano and Di Marzio have said. And in fact, I know that United want a midfielder. The only reason Man United don't sign a midfielder is the Glazers. Arnold and Murta, it's a very simple deal to do Amrabat. Arnold and Murta have worked on that, but Arnold and Murta can't do anything more until the funds are released. If United don't sign Amrabat, it's on the Glazers. The Glazers have used Arnold and Murta as their scapegoat. We do give Arnold and Murta a lot of stick, and sometimes it's deserved. But don't be turning on Arnold and Murta. Don't be turning on Ten Hag. Don't be turning on the players. Be turning on the Glazers if things go wrong. But it was said that United are interested in signing a second midfielder. Now, the name that Manchester United have been linked with the most is Ryan Gravenberch. Fabrizio Romano did confirm yesterday that Manchester United and Liverpool have both asked to be informed on the Ryan Gravenberch situation until the end of the window in case Bayern will allow him to leave. So Romano has said if Bayern allow Gravenberch to leave, there's a feeling he will probably go to Manchester United or Liverpool. Gravenberch's preference is Manchester United, but obviously Liverpool are quite serious in that. Fabrizio Romano also confirmed that Manchester United and Liverpool have both asked to be informed on Ryan Gravenberch's situation. And, it's also been said by good sources in Germany that Bild are a big fan of Mctominay and that Gravenberch could potentially be involved in a deal for Mctominay. Bill Bayern's exact words were Bayern are now considering Manchester United midfielder Scott McTominay as a loan target for the number 6 position in the remaining days of the market. Man United want the Scotsman to leave. In return, Gravenberch could join the Red Devils on loan. So reports from Bild, a very reliable German source, is saying that basically Bayern wants Scott McTominay. They're having agent talks with Scott McTominay, which we'll get into in a second. They view him as the number 6 replacement, which I don't get because he's not a number 6. And essentially, this could mean that Gravenberch United could speed up if we give them McTominay. It's the feeling that McTominay would like the move to Bayern Munich and will push the move on his end. And actually, if McTominay goes, there could be some advancements, not just with Amrabat, but I think essentially with other deals going on at United as well. Eric says, I like the video twice. Big up, Eric. Alex said Amrabat and Gravenberch would be decent business. Gravenberch under 10 was a tall physical baller. Ideally, we need both. If we have to get one, it needs to be Amrabat just for that balance. But ideally, if Manchester United could sign Gravenberch and Amrabat, that would be so ideal as well. Continuing on with the story as well, it was said that obviously Bayern are considering Manchester United midfielder Scott McTominay, and that Scott McTominay is Bayern's preferred position for the number 6 role, and the directors are working on a deal for Scott McTominay with their agents. The interesting thing that's happening here is actually reports from good sources are saying actually, Scott McTominay's agents are now working on a deal with Bayern Munich. Scott McTominay is now having communication with Bayern Munich, working on a deal. There's a feeling that Bayern Munich are going to come in for a bid for Scott McTominay, and then they'll say, look, you can get Amrabat on loan in return. Now, I've seen a lot of Bayern Munich fans crying over McTominay. I actually think McTominay will be a good signing for Bayern Munich as long as he's used and utilised right. From what I'm hearing, though, if they see him as an 8, Thomas Tuchel's probably going to have a Lukaku situation where he buys a player that he thinks he needs, but actually he doesn't suit the philosophy of the squad. But I think if Bayern offers 35 million plus for McTominay, I see United accepting that, especially if that means that we can get Gravenberch on loan. Bayern are basically saying, you give us McTominay, we'll give you Gravenberch on loan. But these are conflicting reports. You can see it's very good journalists coming out in Spain saying United want Amrabat, and that Bayern want obviously Thomas Tuchel. Very good sources are coming out saying that Thomas Tuchel, wants, of course, McTominay, and United want Amrabat. So it's come out from good sources. However, Jason Bubb, the Telegraph, is saying that sources close to Bayern Munich have played down suggestions that head coach Thomas Tuchel is keen to sign McTominay, who can leave United if an offer feels appropriate. So we've got good sources saying that United want that sources close to Bayern Munich, Thomas Tuchel is keen on McTominay. We've got good sources saying that Bayern are keen on McTominay. They've had talks. However, some sources are saying United won't sell him. Some sources are saying United will sell him. And I'm very tired, so I completely zoned out there, but hopefully that makes sense. But I want to get into some more news. I want to get into some more transfer news. I want to get into some more updates regarding the midfield situation. Then we will talk about the attack and everything else. But it was said that Amrabat is a player that Manchester United and Ten Hag like, but the feeling is that a lot of noise around him is coming from the Italian people and surrounding Amrabat's camp. So we've got news today, of course, about the whole Manchester United sort of situation at the moment. Mctominay to Bayern Munich. Very reliable German sources saying, Bayern Munich want Mctominay top of the list. English sources saying this isn't as close as we think. We've now got the same case with Romano and Di Marzio. Tier 1 sources saying Amrabat is really close, but British sources saying it's not as close as we think. But what Sky Sports has said is there's a feeling that there's a lot of noise surrounding Amrabat, and it's coming from the Italian side of the people and his camp. And look, I get that, obviously Sky Sports have said this, Samuel Luckhurst has said this about Amrabat, but I think it's the fact that British media continue saying this about Amrabat and saying that it's the Italian media exaggerating the deal, when Fabrizio, Romano and Di Marzio, who are not Italian media, despite being Italian and tier 1 sources, are saying, look, Man United do want this Amrabat guy. I think that says to me that this is probably fake PR spin news from United to try and distract people from the fact that we're waiting so long to get Amrabat. And in fact, I do know United want Amrabat because Amrabat is denying other clubs he's waiting for his move. He's forcing his move. Amrabat wouldn't be putting this much effort in if he felt that Manchester United were not interested in him. It was also said on the Amrabat situation that talks have taken place at United to sign Fiorentina Sofram Amrabat, who's appeared as their top target, but an offer has not yet been made as of yet, which suggests money is needed to bring in the guy first. So again, another source has confirmed Amrabat again is our top target, but we haven't got the funds yet. Reportedly, Man United's top target is Amrabat, despite some reports and some sources suggesting that we're not in for Amrabat. All the reliable sources have suggested the top target is Amrabat. The reason we haven't bidded is because we need the funds. Dean Henderson's completed his medical. There's a feeling we will receive 20 million for Dean Henderson tomorrow, and there's a feeling that potentially the Amrabat deal could likely advance tomorrow as well. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. I hope I'm not switching out too much. I'm just so tired. I hope that makes sense. We'll talk about the loan swap deal for Mctominay in Gravenberch in a second. I like the team twice. I like the video twice. Big up Eric as well. And it's clear that United need another striker with limited funds. I can't figure who they could sign. Maybe someone like Gift Orban, or Taremi, but with limited funds, there's not many good options out there. Let me know if there's an attacker that comes to mind that you think United would sign. I'd quite like to see someone like Callum Wilson or Ollie Watkins at United on a loan, but I don't think that would happen whatsoever as well. And it's baffling links Scott to Bayern. Fair play, not bothered as long as he goes. Look, fair play to Scott McTominay for being linked to Bayern Munich. And look, if we get Gravenberch in return, fair enough. I don't think he's number 6, but Thomas Tuchel's idea is particularly poor. If we can get McTominay gone and get another midfielder in, that would be brilliant. Now, we've got a few more stories on the Amrabat situation. Loads of interesting news coming out on Amrabat, McTominay, Maguire, and that's what we're going to get into. But reports have come out saying that Amrabat's representatives have grown frustrated at the lack of progress on a move to United and considering their options. So Amrabat's representatives are reportedly frustrated and are starting to consider options, says Jason Burt of The Telegraph. However, Fabrizio Romano has basically confirmed Amrabat wants United and only United. So I think that's a game from Amrabat's team and his agent to hurry United up, because Romano said that Amrabat is waiting and fighting to get his move to United. There's still been no formal or verbal bids yet for him. But Romano is saying that Amrabat wants United, only United, and moves expected soon, and Amrabat's fighting for his move to United. Amrabat wouldn't be fighting and waiting this hard to get a move to United if Man United weren't that interested in Amrabat. We would have told him by now. Samuel Luckhurst is starting to come up saying, look, Man United are not that interested in Amrabat, but why would we be doing personal terms of him 2 months ago? Why would the player be fighting and waiting to get his move for United, rejecting big Saudi offers from Spanish clubs, offers from Turkish clubs for United, if he didn't think that United's link was concrete? Clearly, we want Amrabat, and clearly we've had some communication with Amrabat and his agent to wait it off, because that must be why Amrabat's training alone, in my opinion as well. I will scroll down the chat as well. Adam says Glazers out. Guys, do smash that like button if your Glazers out as well. And Total Media Rubbish Club Spin to say we haven't been seriously in for Amrabat. Why would he wait around and reject numerous other offers? Exactly. I think it's media spin trying to make out that we're not in for Amrabat in case we miss out on him. United can say, oh, we never wanted him. Ooh. Playing you in 0.75 speed. Well, I get told I talk too fast, so I'm trying to talk slower today, but also I'm a little bit steering, which probably doesn't help as well. Alice the auctioneer, and we're on 203 likes, guys, so let's push for 200 likes as well. And there's nothing there's nothing in Bayern Scott McTominay link. It's all media spin. Maybe get to West Ham attention, another PL club. Well, the thing is, I get what you're saying there, Anthony. I think a lot of me does think that this McTominay Bayern Munich story could be PR spin, but at the same time, it is decent sources that aren't decent with British media, but sources that do have a good reputation when it comes to German media. So we'll have to see. Now, another story that we've been linked to another player that's played under Ten Hag is Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg. It said that Manchester United are considering a surprise move for Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Hojbjerg. United have been offered the chance to open talks with Hojbjerg, who Tottenham are willing to sell before Friday's deadline. So United are interested in Hojbjerg. United have got the chance to put an offer in for Hojbjerg. That is what's coming out essentially today. Personally, I wouldn't go for this. Personally, I don't know if we've just been linked to him because he's worked with Ten Hag and it's lazy journalism, but Jason Burt is a good source. I do worry about the talent ID at United when Amrabat's available, when there's loads of good young wingers out there, good young centre-backs out there, great young players out there, and our talent ID seems to be finding the likes of Marcos Alonso and Hojbjerg that couldn't cut it at a poor Chelsea and Tottenham side. It is worrying the talent ID at United, and I think the most important thing when we get new owners is to get new scouts. No disrespect to Hojbjerg, but if we can get Hojbjerg or Gravenberch or Hojbjerg and Amrabat, I'm going with Amrabat over any of them. It goes Amrabat first, Gravenberch second, Hojbjerg third. So I hope there's not too much going on with this Manchester United Hojbjerg situation, but there are reports coming on that Man United are going to make a shot move for Hojbjerg, and that United have actually offered the chance to open talks with Hojbjerg, and Tottenham are willing to sell Hojbjerg. I think the fact that Tottenham are willing to sell their player to United says a lot about the player, and the fact that Manchester United clearly don't want this player. So the Hojbjerg rumour is particularly interesting as well. But I personally would stay away from Hojbjerg. I think the Spurs want to get rid of him. It's a red hat flag. And hopefully Hojbjerg hasn't learned anything from Mount. And I knew we'd get linked to Hojbjerg. Well, he was going to go to Atletico, but that move broke down on personal deals as well. But, you know, Højlund, Eriksen, Hojbjerg, Manchester United Ten Hag's gone away from Dutch and he's moved on to the Danish as well. Leonardo, M9, Marcus Leonardo would be absolutely brilliant for Manchester United, and we will talk about that in another video. But unfortunately, I just don't see, from what I'm hearing, Man United making any kind of advancements on the Marcus Leonardo deal. As good as he'd be for United, as the biggest fans I am for a bigger fan I am of Marcus Leonardo, it seems that United are more than happy just to do nothing with this Marcus Leonardo deal. We've got a few stories to get into, guys, so please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new, and share the video. If you do want to stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news, transfer news, updates and more, do subscribe to the channel. I go live every single evening, keeping you guys updated on all the latest Manchester United news as well. Højlund to play first versus Arsenal. Well, Højlund's expected to be on the bench versus Arsenal, but he's not expected to play. So that is a little bit of a roundup of all the news we've got in regarding the likes of Hojbjerg, Amrabat, Gravenberch, Maguire, Todibo and more. It's basically been said that Maguire is now expected to stay at United unless a permanent offer comes in. Man United are open to selling Mctominay, but it depends on Bayern Munich. There's obviously other interest in Mctominay from obviously the likes of West Ham. We'll see how that advances as well. So there's a few interesting stories going about. I hope I'm making sense because I'm absolutely exhausted at the moment. I feel like I'm falling asleep as well. Could Haller be on loan? Well, Haller's only just got back to BRB, so I think that Haller probably won't be available on loan. And I don't see a massive difference in quality between Hojbjerg and Amrabat, but once we worked on one, we've worked on all some of the others, the last ditch, if even true. And that's a good point as well. I mean, I think Amrabat is better than Hojbjerg, or at least Amrabat has been better than Hojbjerg the last year, and Amrabat's more of a recency form. But as Alex said, you know, if we've been working on Amrabat this long, if we don't get him, for me, it is a disgrace. For a deal you've been working on so long, if we don't go out there and sign the player, I generally think it's a disgrace as well. Congrats on 220 likes, Alex. Big up, everybody. Smash the like button. Let's go for 300 likes. And predictions for Sunday. Is it away at the Emirates? I think it's away at the Emirates. This is the thing. If we play Arsenal at home, I predict we win. If we play Arsenal away, I predict we lose. We are playing Arsenal away, which makes me feel like we're going to lose. However, I don't think Arsenal have been at their best this season. So I'm going to go 2-2 between Man United and Arsenal. Let me know your score predictions in the chat tomorrow for Manchester United and Arsenal. It'd be really interesting to see what you guys think regarding that situation. But I want to get into all the Amrabat news for you. I think the Amrabat news has been getting particularly boring. And I'm 100% with you guys on that fact that Amrabat news is getting particularly boring. It's getting confusing. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to just go through a timeline of all the Amrabat news that's come out today for you. So then we essentially just don't have to address that story much longer as well. So we're going to quickly get into that right now. So as you can see on my screen here, it was said that Sofram Amrabat has decided to wait for Manchester United until the end of the transfer window. That's what it was said by Romano. Romano then said that Galatasaray are trying to sign Amrabat and are holding talks for a deal. And if Amrabat doesn't go to United, he could join the Galatasaray despite being a high fee. Galatasaray, who wouldn't give us any money for Fred, unbelievable, but we'll pay a high fee for Amrabat, just our luck. And then it was said that Manchester United have been in the market for another midfielder, but club sources say if Amrabat does leave Fiorentina, it's not going to be United. And I think that was Samuel Lucker's BS, who's saying that Amrabat's not one of the 10 midfielders on United's shortlist. I think that was BS, because not long later we get obviously reports coming out saying that Man United are only delaying the Amrabat deal and waiting till the final days of the season just to see if they can get Amrabat on a cut price. Thank you very much for joining the members club. Ahmad Erkans, big up joining the members club as well. Let me know your thoughts and score predictions in the chat. Wally is saying 2-2 as well, or they absolutely spank us. Unfortunately, they could be absolutely spanking us, but I'm not going to do negative predictions on United. So that's why I've obviously gone with the 2-2 draw. But let me know your predictions down below. It was said that Amrabat will wait for United. Sorry, United will wait to make a bid for Amrabat as well. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Amrabat is not training with Fiorentina because he knows Man United want him, and United have always stayed in contact with him. Despite Luckhurst saying that United never really wanted Amrabat, Fabrizio Romano said no, that's not the case. United have always wanted Amrabat. That's why he's training alone, because he knows Manchester United wants him. And if you're going to believe Fabrizio Romano, you're going to believe Samuel Luckhurst. You're going to choose Fabrizio Romano as well. On the Amrabat situation as well, we've got a little bit more news in saying that one more midfielder leaving Man United is crucial for the Amrabat deal. Real Sociedad want to wait until the end of the window to complete Donny van de Beek terms on other conditions. Basically, Real Sociedad know we're desperate to sell Donny, so they want to do the deal on their conditions, which is holding up the Amrabat situation. And I don't think the Donny situation should be holding up the Amrabat situation. I think, Amrabat should be signed as a replacement for Fred. Gravenberch should be signed as a replacement for Donny. And this again said that one midfielder leaving means that it's crucial we could get Amrabat in. So a lot of reports from good sources are saying, ignore what Samuel Luckhurst is saying, United generally do want Amrabat, but they just want to make sure they sell and get that sale done before it's done as well. And it was said that United and Fiorentina are trying to find, are in contract to find a solution for Amrabat, and that United and Fiorentina are going to sort of try and negotiate down Amrabat's potential asking price as well, is news coming out. So those were the main stories as well. But basically, it seems that United are willing to compromise and try and find a solution for Amrabat as well. What do you think if we sign Amrabat and Tchouaméni? Look, if we sign Tchouaméni, I'd be absolutely gassed. I don't think there's any chance of signing Tchouaméni, but as you guys know, I'm an absolutely massive Tchouaméni fan. So if there's any chance United can sign Tchouaméni, I'm absolutely going to be all over it. But I don't think it's going to happen at all. I don't think it's going to happen at all. Amrabat is the most realistic, but it depends on United. What are we waiting for? Even 30 million euros was very fair, and anything less is more than fair. 100% agree with you, Alex. I don't know what United are waiting for so long with this Amrabat deal, but it's just what United do as well. And imagine letting Maguire keep his wages and getting him game time on loan so he can keep his England place. United won't loan out Maguire. The situation with Maguire, if you joined the live stream, was that United want to sell Maguire, but they won't actually do a loan deal for Maguire because they won't have the funds to get a replacement in. So Maguire's going to make the decision. Do I leave United and leave them with the funds to get Todibo in and join West Ham for my career, or do I sit and rot on the Man United bench? And Maguire seems to prefer money, because United actually offered Maguire a $6 million payout to leave, and he just didn't leave as well. Odin says, and breathe. It's probably because I'm a little bit steaming as well. And Chelsea got 10 new players this window, and we've only got 3. Well, we could be getting 4 or 5 new deals in the coming days, but I absolutely agree as well. And with the way the news is going today, might be Martial or Tchouaméni Scotland. Honestly, not that would happen, but, we've been linked with Hojbjerg, Cucurella, Martial leaving. The next thing we know, will be linked for Tchouaméni, swap deal for Martial. The news is absolutely crazy at the moment, people. And it is so hard to know what to believe. And as I said, I showed you my notes on the news at the beginning of the video. I broke it down into all my notes here, broke it down into goalkeeper, that Dean's completed his medical, broke it down into defence. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, I'll zoom this in actually. But in defence here, it was said essentially that West Ham were considering returning from Maguire, but United told West Ham as things stand, Harry's staying at the club. Then Man United rejected an Everton loan bid for Maguire. And then it was said that West Ham were expected to sign Maguire. And then the Times are saying, no, Man United have blocked a fresh approach for Maguire. And then on the left-back situation here, you've got Man United will sign a new left-back confirmed by Romano. The priorities for Man United are currently a left-back, keeper, and midfielder confirmed by Romano. And then Romano said that Chelsea is open to letting Cucurella go on loan to United, but only on their conditions. And then obviously Spanish sources are coming out saying that Cucurella is in favour of a move to United. The two clubs are discussing the deal. But again, more and more sources talking about Cucurella to United, which links to the fact that Alvaro Fernandez is leaving. And then you've got sources saying that Manchester United have inquired about Brentford Rico Henry as they look to bring in now left back ahead of Friday's transfer deadline. And then you've got news coming out that Manchester United have offered a 2-year contract to Marcos Alonso. The first year would be on loan. So again, apparently you've made an offer for Alonso. Lots of confusing news. But the way I look at it is Dean Henderson's going, Bay and Diaz coming in. Maguire will only go if we get a natural bid for him and he agrees to leave. And then we bring in Todibo. The left back situation is moving towards Cucurella, but it will be a left back confirmed by Romano. And then the midfield situation, as you can see here on my screen, is that United do want another midfielder. They have inquired about Gravenberch. Bayern want Mctominay. Bayern think Mctominay is a 6. Mctominay could be involved in the deal with Gravenberch, but there's also reports saying that the noise around Amrabat is due to Italian media and that talks are taking place, but United haven't made an offer for Amrabat, and that Amrabat's representatives are frustrated with United, which is fair enough. But then Fabrizio Romano said, look, Amrabat's waiting and fighting to get his move to United. There's still not been any further formal or verbal bids yet, but Romano said that's dependent on a midfield sale. And then obviously you've got reports coming out from the Times today that United are actually considering a surprise move for Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Hojbjerg, and that United have been offered a chance to sign Hojbjerg, who Tottenham Hotspur are willing to sell before Friday's deadline. So as you can see on my screen, me just going through the news, there's lots and lots of stories coming out on this whole situation as well. Alice, last season we were our third runner-up, and now we can't offload some deadwood in our team. But Chelsea are not top 4 last season and have dealt with 10 deadwood in their team. Yeah, it's crazy, We had a good season and we can't seem to sell players. Chelsea have a bad season and they can sell players, and they can sell players for the right price. It's like, surely United are cursed. How can Chelsea have this awful season and sell players and sell even players like Lewis Hall that didn't play, that's 18 years of age, goes to Newcastle for 35 million, and we can't even get 8 million for Kovar. We can't even get 5 million for Alvaro Fernandez. And you see Man City and Chelsea selling their youth academy players for 20-30 million. It's absolutely crazy, because you think, well, what's going on with United here? Why can all our rivals sell youth players for this amount, but United not seem to do anything as well? Hojbjerg won't be a bad player. Højlund won't be bad, good defensive player and strong player. I don't know what you mean by that as well. And we have Champions League. What are we doing this transfer window? We're buying average players and struggling to move. Donkeys, it's sickening. I agree. And Dean leaving is satisfying. Another overpaid, overconfident, potentially toxic influence on the club, says Alex B. And I think that's true. Guys, do you want me to do a video maybe tomorrow morning about all the outs and ins involved at United? Because I feel like it's so hard to grasp your head around what's going. Like, do you want me to do a video basically rounding up who's likely to leave, who's likely to stay, what the situation is, and what our lineup could look, what our team could look like if all these players leave or go? I could do a video later this week about the players linked to leaving, the players linked to going, and all of that stuff, if that sounds like something of interest as well. £1 billion debt will restrict this current model, completely unsustainable. Yeah. And the thing is, even if Qatar came in tomorrow and it was done, which is impossible, because even if Qatar go in tomorrow, it takes still like 2 months to finalise. But as soon as Qatar come in, United will have an extra £50 million free in FFP restrictions just for clearing the debt as well, which I always think is a crazy thing to consider when you look at the whole transfer situation right now. Waiting FC as well. Yes, Alice, do it. I'll do a video tomorrow, literally summing everything up in less than 10 minutes, from goalkeeper to midfielder to attacker to defender to left back. The players we're linked with, the players we're likely to sign, the players we're linked with that we won't sign, the players that could leave, the players that are likely to leave, what the team will look like. Maybe I'll do a thing like 10 more deals in the next 24 hours, kind of summing up all the Man United transfer news for you guys, because again, it is very confusing. It's very difficult to kind of get your head around what's going on, because it seems like chaos. 1 minute it's Mctominay going to Bayern, the next minute we're signing Hojbjerg. It's absolute madness as well. So yeah, to get the head around all the news is pretty crazy at the moment as well. And Bohi blowing all these myths about what a club is able to do in the transfer window completely out the water. He is. And look, Man United can find a way around it. There's a way that United can get a way around everything. FFP, short-term contracts, sell players, but United don't want to. United are just using FFP as an excuse not to spend. They could spend if they wanted to, they just don't want to as well. Henry Long says video. Yes, Alice, big up Henry Long, big up everybody in the chat. Jason says another reason United are struggling to sell several players is because of their average ability, which I think is true, but then I think Chelsea's players don't always have the best ability. But I think the main reason is the high wages and the toxicity of having players that are on high wages that don't want to leave. Eric Bailly and Maguire, we've had offers for. Eric Bailly and Maguire, clubs have made offers for. West Ham offered 30 million for Maguire, that was accepted. We've had Fenerbahce, Saudi Arabia, and Fulham make offers for Eric Bailly. The reason Eric Bailly and Maguire are still at the club is because they've chosen to be at the club, because they won't leave unless Man United pay them off and give them money to leave. Eric Bailly and Maguire are at the club right now because we've given them ridiculous wages. Otherwise, we'd have sold them. Clubs are interested. Clubs have made bids. Tellez, unlike Bailly, Tellez was happy to go to Saudi Arabia and have his move and not ask for a payout. Donny van der Beek's nothing to do with his wages. It's to do with, Real Sociedad being funny. Mctominay and Donny van der Beek would take a pay cut to leave United and play regular football and not ask for money. Maguire wants money to leave. Eric Bailly wants money to leave. Bailly's asking for 700 grand to leave when he's not even training. It's just Bailly being ridiculously greedy, wanting money out of United as well. Isaac said, Alice, it's a shame that we couldn't bring in Amrabat, and Maguire deal was being blocked for what? Well, the Maguire deal was being blocked because why would we loan out Maguire when you gave us 30 million for him? We're giving Maguire his way. He can stay on his wages that he has at United and play regular football. It's like, no, you leave United, you cut your wages so he can get 30 million for you and bring in Todibo, or you stay on the current wages you're at United and sit on the bench. We're not going to give Maguire his way when Maguire rejected, a 12 million payout as well. Having the money, finding a way to spend it is completely different to our situation as well. True, and nobody's interested in Maguire except West Ham. Well, actually, there's a few clubs interested in Maguire. Everton are interested in Maguire as well. But Maguire's probably sitting there raging, going, "How dare Bayern Munich be interested in Scott McTominay but not be interested in me?" Because maybe if Bayern Munich are interested in Maguire, something happens there. But again, I highly doubt it. But Bayern Munich have really got an interest in Prem players, and that is Thomas Tuchel. And Thomas Tuchel actually did want Harry Maguire at Chelsea at one point. So you never know. Maybe there could be some interest from Bayern Munich in Maguire, but Bayern Munich's interest is in McTominay. And guys, who was expecting Bayern to have interest in McTominay? Because I'll be honest, I was really not expecting Bayern Munich to have much interest in McTominay. I can't lie to you. I'm very surprised about that news. And we'll see what happens, because English sources are saying it's not that advanced, but the German sources saying that Thomas Tuchel and Bayern want McTominay. They are good German sources. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, it is pretty reliable sources in Germany confirming all these McTominay stories, but then the English media is kind of denying it, and maybe United are denying it. I'm not sure as well. Only loan for Maguire would have to come with an obligation, otherwise rot on the bench, says Alex, and I agree. And I don't think we have enough credit just how bad Woodward's tenure was. The fact Ed Woodward set us back 5 years. Ed Woodward, when he left, we were still set back 5 years because all those 5-year contracts of average players and ridiculous wages that we can't shift. Maguire and Bailly, we could have got nearly 40 million for this summer, but those two players refused to leave for the money. That's 40 million that could have gone on Todibo. Maybe leftover could have gone towards Amrabat. That's 40 million that could have gone to rebuilding the squad that still needs a rebuild. There's still a good few signings that United need to do. So yeah, I think that whole situation is frustrating as well. We shouldn't need to sell people to buy Amrabat, offer them 10 million and pay them 15 million 6-month installments. And you know what? That's what we do if we were a smart club. That's what we do if we were Chelsea. But United will say FFP this, FFP that. But again, there's ways United can buy Amrabat. They can do this. They can go and pay 21 million for Amrabat. They've made 21 million in sales. It's the fact that Man United don't want to do it. It's the fact that the Glazers don't want to do it. They can do that. And I think that's the most frustrating thing about being a United fan, is that we can see, oh, United can do this. United can make a bid for this player. United can make a move for this player. We can do this. We can do that. And it's like, well, why aren't United doing this? This is what I hate about being a United fan. It's like, well, we can do this. We can do that. We could do this. We could do that. But why aren't we doing this? And yeah, that's the thing as well. And Alex B says we aren't flush with funds anymore, staggering debts and barely any profit. Everything in debt is credit now. And look, we are broke, but there's always ways around it. And the financial situation at Man United isn't good, but there's a 5.2 billion offer on the table from Sheikh Yassim that will clear all the debt and completely get Man United back on track. And these Glazers have decided to ignore that 5.2 billion offer from Sheikh Yassim for multiple months. We could get over this financial situation if you just said, Qataris, there you go, be the next owners. But I don't want to do that as well. Some reports are even saying that Fiorentina would even entertain a loan to buy. No excuses. Exactly. Fiorentina are willing to loan at Amrabat. There's no excuses as well. Isaac says, Alice, Manchester United are exploring midfield targets ahead of a transfer deadline. And my take is, why do we always embark on a deadline transfers? Arnold and Murta need to go with their masters. I agree, Isaac. Arnold and Murta aren't too much to blame, but the recruitment at United is particularly poor. Even being linked to the name of Hojbjerg is particularly worrying. But yeah, 100% agree. 100% agree. Like, I think the whole board needs an overhaul, because I think it's just, we need a director of football. The players we're linked to, we need a 6 right now. We're just getting linked to, an 8. No disrespect to Gravenberch. I like Gravenberch, but, we need a 6 right now. We need someone that's going to help Casemiro. Why? Amrabat's the only 6 we've been linked to, and hopefully we get an Amrabat deal done. But actually, names like Hojbjerg we're being linked to, that we get linked to so many bad names, Ryan Bertrand, Hojbjerg, signing Johnny Evans. Man United, there's a lot of good players out there, a lot of good young profiles out there that would fit this team perfectly, that could be available for good money and we wouldn't have to overpay for, that United seem to just ignore. We're going for players that basically Ten Hag knows, have played with Ten Hag, worked with Ten Hag, got board recommended. So I think one of the most important things when we get new owners in is to get a new board and a complete new structure as well. How many loans are we allowed? I think it's only a rule if it's Premier League loans, to be honest as well. A most profitable club in England needs to sell to buy players. The Glazers, the rats, and have milked our club dry. You're absolutely spot on, guys. Smash that like button if you want the Glazers out. They're absolute rats. They have milked this club dry, and the Glazers being here have just caused us so many problems as well. And easily Glazers could have fixed this situation, but they could care less, ruining another transfer window for their greed. Exactly. And we are tired of Glazers bringing Qatar. Smash the likes if you want Qatar, and sign Todibo, play Martinez as a left back. I mean, there's potential to do that, but I like Martin as a centre back. Van der Sar, DOF when he's fully recovered. Well, Mark Overmars had a big part to play in that as well. We need to rebuild the Ajax structure at United, and the Glazers won't do that because the Glazers only want to employ the Bristol Bankers Club. So the only way that we are going to rebuild the Ajax structure at Man United is if the Glazers go. So we need Qatar to come in. Maybe they bring in someone like Paul Mitchell, Ralph Rangnick, maybe Michael Edwards, and they can build some good structure as well. What level do you think Hojbjerg is? I just think I don't think he's an improvement on Mctominay. Like 2 years ago, he would have been, but he's a mid-table player. You know, we need to get away from mid-table players. We need to sign good players. I don't want us to sign mid-table players. I want us to sign good players. That's what I want at the moment. And unfortunately, you know, I think the level of players that we're being linked to aren't good enough as well. Never forget last window, Arnautovic and Rabiot until we all kicked off last summer. We got Casemiro. It's PR. They can't afford it. Exactly. Man United pretending they had no funds, they were going to sign Rabiot and Arnautovic, and we ended up with Anthony and Casemiro instead because we kicked off. If there's a reason, if we lose 4-0 to Brentford, if we'd lost 4-0 to Forest, I'm glad that we beat Forest and we turned it around and we got the 3 points. But I think had we lost 4-0 to Forest, Amrabat would have been a player now. I think had we lost 4-0 to Forest, I'd be doing a show saying Amrabat to United, here we go. I really do. I really, really do, people. And Højlund and Kai Rooney, the future. Sheikh Yassim, here we go in October. Hopefully, and no serious club even wants these other players. And we're delaying transfers that rival clubs are desperate for. A DM and striker should be the priority, says Nays. I agree. For me, look, if Maguire goes, bring in Todibo, but Maguire only goes if it's a permanent. For me, Dean Henderson, there's 15 million profit on that after the backup goalkeeper. Look, sell Mctominay, sell Donny, bring in Gravenberch and Amrabat, but Gravenberch is alone. The leftover funds go on an attacker. The ideal window for me is get this goalkeeper in, get this left back on loan, get Gravenberch on loan, get Amrabat, get a striker in, get Mctominay out, get Donny out, get Maguire out. Dean Henderson's essentially out. That's personally what I would do this transfer window as well. We need the scouting team that Fergie had said Frank. Fergie's scouting team wasn't particularly good, but they just worked with Fergie as well. Could you imagine Garnacho at striker? He'd be like Rashford, can't hold up the ball. But he's got the pace to run at people as well, and only loan FC for youngsters. Man United seem to be free agents FC, loan FC at the moment. It is quite frustrating because I feel like there's so many good deals out there that Manchester United could do, but they just seem to be loan FC, free agent FC, this FC at the moment. And it's like, look, there's good young players out there that are like 25, 30 million pounds. And I know you're saying you're broke and pretending you're broke, but actually, I know Man United are nowhere near as broke as Man United are trying to make out they are. Man United are trying to make out they're broke and they can't do anything. But look, Man United, as someone put in the chat, Man United tried to make out they were broke last season. Man United literally tried to make out they could only afford Rabiot and Arnautovic last season. Everyone kicked off because Arnautovic is a racist and Rabiot is a spoiled brat. And all of a sudden, instead of Rabiot, we get Casemiro. Instead of Arnautovic, we get Anthony. Bish, bash, bosh, upgrades, people. Just shows if we can kick up a fuss. You know, United do have the funds there, and it's all a game as well. Swat Scott for Gravenberch. Smash the like if you swat Scott for Gravenberch as well. 4 days, what's realistic? I mean, the thing is, United could do 10 deals in 4 days if the pressure was on them. They are capable of doing it. They just don't want to do it, and that's the thing. Casemiro and Anthony were signed in about 4 days, and you know, when the pressure's on, when we have to do stuff, we get it done. And all this delaying, all this time wasting is just a tactic to spend less money so the Glazers can get more profit. Is Hannibal getting loaned? Hannibal, Mejbri, Alvaro Fernandez and Police Street. Loan is up in the air, but they've got Premier League and top offers. And I think it's going to be a deadline day loan where United make sure they get signing in so they can loan them. But I think all three should be loaned. But I also think with the lack of transfer business and the backing that Ten Hag's gotten, we're in a position where we might actually need some of them because of injuries, which I think is frustrating as well. But Bayendier, Todibo, Amrabat in, Henderson, Maguire, Van der Beek out. What a perfect end to the transfer window as well. And when the appetite is there, things can happen. But it's mostly all debt. Yearly financial reports don't lie, says Alex B. Exactly. And United are now considering a move for Reguilon, but Mark Cucurella deal is off. Is this true, Alice? I've been told that Mark Cucurella is the most advanced, unless there's a news story that's come out just now. No news stories come out just now. I've been told that Marc Cucurella to United is the most advanced deal, and that is likely to happen. And Fabrizio Romano has said that United will sign a left back. So I believe it will be Cucurella, but we'll have to see how that advances as well. And I prefer if Alvaro stayed in England. Yeah, you got a loan offer from Burnley, but would you rather send it to Granada, which I don't quite get as well. And Hannibal back up until Mount's maybe works out. Maybe we're going to loan out Hannibal in January and Pellistri in January as well. And Pellistri's doing more on the right than Anthony and Sancho. And to be honest, maybe that's why Pellistri hasn't gone to Sheffield United despite their interest. But anyway, people, please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. Share the video. Thank you for watching today's live stream. See you next time. And of course, bye.